always have to be ready for a joke. You never know when a joke can approach.
Yeah.
So.
Suddenly out of nowhere. Ah, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back. This is Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast about my two favorite things, reading cheap smut and talking to my husband.
It's true. Welcome back, honey. How are you?
I'm so good, thank you. Today was a long day.
Yeah, it feels like, even though this episode is coming out a week later, it feels like we recorded it the day after we recorded part one.
Oh, maybe because we did.
Yeah. We did. I don't care. I don't care that I'm peeling back the curtain on this and letting people know that that's how this goes sometimes.
Yeah. I originally thought we were going to do it all in one sitting, but that would have been like 3 hours of recording, and that's too much.
especially after the day that we had with our lovely children.
God, I love them so much. I could simply eat them alive, and also I want to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
Parenting, y'all.
It's the absolute. I can't. How many times did you get hit in the face by a tablet today?
A tablet? 4 or 5?
Yeah. Our daughter was on one.
Yeah. She also dumped an entire cup of water into my lap during bath time today.
Aww.
It wasn't not maliciously. We were both stunned because we didn't expect the arc of the water to go the way it did, and suddenly mommy's all wet.
Yeah. I can see the look I can see it.
Yeah.
In my mind's eye. I know exactly the face she made.
Yeah. And then she went, "Wow," in that way that she does.
She's just shy of 2.
Yeah.
So that's the phase that we're in. Our son is just shy of 5. So yeah, we're having a great time with that. But you know what? That's done. The kids are in bed.
Yes, they are.
We have procured beverages.
Mm-hmm.
You have your notes.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to just get right back into Baby and the Late Night Howlers.
Yes. Part 2 of our special on ABO, or Alpha, Beta, Omega romances. We're going to do our normal disclaimers at the top of the episode. So first and foremost, this is an explicit podcast. We are discussing filthy, filthy books, and we use filthy, filthy language. So please be advised. Number 2, I do not review books. This is not a podcast for reviewing anything. If you want to know my opinion, it's always going to be 10 out of 10. Go buy it for yourself. And before we begin, content warning for Baby and the Late Night Howlers, human trafficking, physical and emotional abuse, and gun violence are the 3 major ones that we may encounter in this book.
Thank you for getting those out there and letting everybody know. And with that, let's just get right into it, because I was really looking forward, as I was editing the first episode today and having a blast listening.
I'm so glad.
Listening to it and getting very excited to see where this goes. So
right.
Take me there.
Oh, I will gladly take you there. So where we last left off, Baby is settling into her courting period with the Howlers. She's getting to know the club. She's getting to know the pack and all of the members, deciding which alphas she's going to form a romantic relationship with. She's already formed a sexual relationship with a couple of them.
Yep.
And when we last left her, she was snuggled up with one of her alphas named Green.
Mm-hmm.
Who then suggested that they go back down to the pack bar so that she can get to know the pack a little better before she continues with her courting.
Thank you for catching me up, because I did not finish editing the first episode, so I appreciate the recap.
All right. So to begin, the next chapter starts with Scorch and Bomber leaving a meeting that they have had with an MC whose territory is just to the north of them. That MC is called Hell's Hangmen. They have a very tenuous truce with Hell's Hangmen. Hell's Hangmen is a low-level criminal motorcycle club. Mm-hmm. They deal in drugs, guns, and girls. The Late Night Howlers is an altruistic motorcycle club. I don't know if that's a thing in the real world, except for those lovely bikers who protect children while they testify against their abusers. I don't really know.
So where would you place them on the alignment chart?
Chaotic good.
The Howlers?
Yeah.
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 And you would say that the the Hell's Hangman would be just
Neutral evil.
neutral evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hangman and the Howlers had a truce before the Howlers' previous prez 9
Yep.
died.
Okay.
And now Scorch is trying to keep his grip on that. Unfortunately, the Hangmen are full of piss and beans and not good people. They don't really feel like they should have a truce with anybody, but they're doing their best. When they get back to the Late Night Howlers bar, they find Baby hanging out with the rest of the pack, and Scorch immediately has, I told you this earlier, I was reading my notes, he has dumbass energy.
Yeah.
He's like, what is she doing down here? Like, she doesn't have the right to go wherever she damn well pleases.
She's our Omega Scorch.
Yeah. I mean, she's not their Omega yet, but she's
No.
trying to be, and she won't be if she's not allowed to be around any of them.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent point. How's she supposed to feel like she's at home?
Exactly.
This is her place now.
She's supposed to be building a family with these people.
Yep.
Are we going to keep her locked up in an ivory tower?
Yeah.
Yeah. So after a couple of tense moments, Baby putting her foot down and telling him to go fuck right off if he thinks he can control anything that she says or does, we cut to just a nice. It's like a family reunion scene or something like that. Catherine Moon writes really great dialogue, and I wish I could read a lot of it to you, but that doesn't feel appropriate.
Yeah.
Because they're her words, and she's not getting paid for me to read them, so I'm not going to do that. But while we're here, I just wanted to take a little time to acknowledge some alphas who are part of the Howlers who we are never going to see again. For no particular reason other than they're not romantic partners for Baby, and they just don't show up again.
In the arms of the angel. Like, it feels like it should be like an in memoriam.
Yeah.
And, that was less than 10 seconds, so we can keep that in. That's fair use. I don't have to edit it out or pretend I didn't just poorly sing a Sarah McLachlan song to honor the Howlers who we will never get to know.
We get to know them a little bit in this scene, and that's about it. But those 3 Howlers are Thumb. He runs the dispensary. He is of no particular interest. He doesn't even get, I don't think, a physical description, but he's nice. He's lovely.
I hope that he's called Thumb because that's what he looks like. You know the type.
It took me a second to realize what you were talking about because I was just picturing the Thumb guys from the Spy Kids movie.
Oh, no. I mean, you've seen the people, weak chin, kind of look like a thumb.
Looks like a thumb. Yeah. I don't know why he's called Thumb. They never say, but I do think it's just a fun turn of phrase because he runs the dispensary and Green grows for the dispensary, and the dispensary is called the Green Thumb Dispensary.
Okay.
So there you go. Next up we have Flea. Flea is described as the oldest member of the pack. He is a bouncer for the bar, and he smells like dogs. Like, what does it say? He has a gentle animal scent, and he's always covered in dog hair because Flea's one true love is his animals.
Oh, I love that. I would really love it if he had that wonderful dog paw corn chip smell.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Something so good about the way your dog's paws smell when they smell just a little bit like Fritos.
It's a fungus.
Yeah, I know.
It's a fungus. That's so weird. And I'm just
nice. Well, new car smell.
Yep.
New car smell is really bad for you because it's a bunch of toxic chemicals evaporating off of your car, but it smells so good.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes bad things smell good, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then the last Howler that we will never really speak of again is Shade. He is described as a bubbly goth.
Oh.
And I picture full goth.
Oh yeah.
With the painted face.
Yep.
The elaborate makeup, the fantastic hair, the great clothes, the whole 9 yards. But he's just a happy little so-and-so, just a sweet little grayscale dude.
I'm just going to go ahead and in my brain, that's going to be Noel Fielding.
Noel Fielding.
Because he was so great as the goth on the IT Crowd.
He was. In my brain, he was Cole Sprouse.
Okay. Oh, younger.
Yeah, younger. So
younger than Noel.
I think he is actually described as being the youngest member or one of the youngest members of the packs.
That wouldn't work.
But it doesn't really. You can dream cast anybody. But I pictured Cole Sprouse specifically from Riverdale because he was a goth-ish alt boy in that. So I thought he would be fun.
Okay.
as one of the pack. Each of these pack members has a sweetie, and they are happy as can be, and they all fully support Baby because she is to become the Omega will be the center of their pack, but they are not romantic interests of hers. So because this is a romance novel, we're never going to see them again.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service, gentlemen.
Absolutely. We salute you. After the cute little family reunion thing that happens in the bar, Baby and Scorch talk. He sees that she has gotten a hickey from Green, and he does the exact same thing again. Who did this to her? And she once again tells him to fuck right off because she asked for it anyway.
As is her right.
He needs to stop being such a possessive little shit. He is contrite, but immediately starts thinking about his mother. Because once again, Scorch needs so much therapy. But
all of it. All the therapy.
All the therapy. The next day, Yvonne, Omega with a stick up her ass, comes for a visit, and the pack puts their best foot forward. They make the place look nice. They're all dressed in their best motorcycle club gear or whatever. But Yvonne just takes Baby to the side and tells her that she has some reservations with Baby's choice. Baby loves where she is, but Yvonne's like, they don't even have. I think Baby says, I don't need things like private tennis courts and jacuzzi tubs. And Yvonne goes, Baby, everyone wants a jacuzzi tub.
In a hotel for a weekend, maybe.
Although at the very, very end of this book, Baby does request they put in a jacuzzi tub for her. So I guess everybody really does love a jacuzzi. I would, I'm a very large person.
Yeah.
And most bathtubs do not fit me in them comfortably. I would love a jacuzzi tub.
Agree. I mean, I think about, like, I know your parents have one, and I think of the maintenance, and that bugs me, and I wouldn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking one of those like built-in ones in your bathroom.
Oh,
not
yeah.
like my dad has one out on the back porch
Yep.
or whatever. Baby doesn't love the space that she's in. She's in an apartment. It's a little too close to the street. It's a little too loud, but she doesn't feel like she has the place to ask for anything because she's only been here for 3 days.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel like she can walk in and immediately start making like big renovation demands. So she tells Yvonne she'll figure it out, but she's not changing her mind no matter what Yvonne says, and Yvonne leaves.
Good.
And Baby goes down, and she decides she wants to visit some of the other places in the plaza, and she goes to Dusty's garage. Dusty mostly works on motorcycles, but also does cars. A few of the other pack members work there, and she's just hanging out, kind of learning a little bit about how the motorcycles work while Dusty works on an engine. And he takes her into his office to give her his courting present. He's not going to be a romantic partner of Baby's, but he wants to welcome her,
Of course.
just as much as anybody else does. He's a very sweet, sweet man. He calls her darling. I hear a southern accent when I read Dusty.
Yeah.
He gives her very own embroidered leather jacket with the Howlers logo on the back and Baby on the left breast.
You gotta.
She loves it. They go to the bar and show it off. Everybody thinks it's just absolutely great.
My uncle John was in a motorcycle club, and
Was he?
I thought his jacket was
That's
so
cool. I mean, I remember him having Harley Davidson t-shirts and stuff, but by the time I met your Uncle John, he was much older.
Yeah, no, this was well before I met you. I just remember he had a really cool motorcycle jacket. I couldn't tell you what was on it. I just remember thinking that was the coolest thing. I was also terrified to ride his my sister would ride his motorcycle all the time. I was terrified of riding the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I got over that, but at the time I thought the jacket was cool, but I'd never get one because I was scared of motorcycles.
Fair enough. I have only ridden a motorcycle once in my life. I was 10, and one of the lifeguards at the community pool that I was a member of when I was a kid, she got a motorcycle, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She had this like white Kawasaki. Ooh, it was so slick.
That
she
sounds
was
cool.
the coolest. Melissa, if you're out there, I hope you're still the coolest.
She probably is.
I bet you she is. So the next day, Baby's just lounging around. She doesn't know what to do with herself. She's starting to feel a little kept.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have anything to do. But Bullet comes up to visit her to give her his courting present. He can't give it to her there. She's holding her in her hands like, give me prezzies. No, you have to come down to my office. They get down there. He gestures broadly to his desk. And what is he offering her as his courting present? A gun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bullet,
I thought it was going to be obvious, but
yeah. It's a little obvious. His name is Bullet.
yeah.
Bullet is the security for the club.
Okay.
He's security for the club. He's security for the bar. And he is also a military veteran.
Okay.
He has all of the training in firearms. And so she goes to grab it and he's like, no, do not touch. Do you even know if that's loaded? Do not touch that. And this is one of the things I really loved about this book. There's so much gun safety in this.
Oh, I love it.
He doesn't just hand it over like, I'll teach you how to shoot it sometime, kitten. He calls her kitten. He takes like 6 hours to teach her how to fully disassemble, clean, reassemble, and take the safety off. They don't fire guns at all for another 12 chapters.
He's got a blank firing adapter on the end of it because he's treating her like a private.
Yep.
Which is what you should do the first time you hand anybody a weapon, is treat them like a private. When I was in charge of gun safety, when I was doing college theater, because I was the only military veteran in the cast or in the department, I felt the same. I felt the pressure. I know what Bullet was going through. Because you've got these kids and they're just like, hey, look at me whipping these guns around. And I was like, I will punch you in the neck if you do that again. So I get it. I understand.
Well, they are literally the most dangerous weapon.
Yeah.
Designed only for killing.
Agreed.
Much like MODOK.
Nice pivot.
Yeah. I'm a nerd too. I've got cred. Some amount of cred.
It's true.
So Baby and Bullet spend the afternoon learning how her gun works. It is a standard 9mm handgun. Then they get all snuggly on the couch and she's like, I really want to have sex. And he won't do it. And she bemoans that all of these alphas have incredible self-control. They want to move slowly and she wants to move faster than that because her hormones are going crazy and all she wants is dick.
Yeah.
But they have a nice dirty cuddle. I think he fingers her and she blows him. And then there's a scene or a sequence of there's a name for this and I can't remember the name of it. It might just be cum play. Because he like spreads his cum all over her chest and like marks her with his scent that way.
Yeah.
It's sort of a primal alpha thing.
Yeah. That sounds pretty alpha. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They go back down to the bar afterwards. He said, I think he says, don't wash it off. They're going to lose their minds. I don't know what happens though, because she didn't actually write that part.
Oh.
Whether or not they lost their minds. But that night, everybody's hanging out at the bar. They're having a good time. And who should walk in but Buzz and Indy, the two leaders of Hell's Hangmen. And they're there to cause trouble and stir shit. And they have brought Lola. This is when we learn that Buzz is the alpha that Lola hooked up with in chapter 1.
Oh,
yeah.
Intrigue.
Yeah, intrigue. The Hangmen are super jealous of the fact that the Howlers have an Omega. But she's unmarked, so meaning that they haven't bitten yet. So they're here to stir shit, cause trouble, remind them that if she's unmarked, anything could happen to her, etc. They have brought Lola as their way in to get a look at Baby and to make the Howlers nervous. Almost immediately, it's very clear to Baby that Lola is not in a good situation, that she's being either emotionally or physically abused by these men or both. She feels terrible because she gave Lola that sweatshirt and Lola they've probably just been taking hits of Omega off of Lola for the past several days and treating her like garbage. Baby tries to talk to her. They won't let Baby be alone with her. Buzz tries to get Lola to convince Baby to go up to the nest so that she can get even more of her smell on her. But Lola won't go. So they're stuck sitting at this table just facing off with each other. It's an absolute pissing contest, but at the end of it, Baby at least gets an opportunity to give Lola a hug and tell her that she is sorry because she feels guilty. She feels like she got Lola into this situation in the first place. She once Lola and Buzz and Indy leave, she asks if there is anything that they can do, anything that the club can do, but they can't because they don't want to start a war.
Right.
So instead, what she does is she calls Lola's cousin David and tells him that Lola's in trouble, and that's the best that she can do.
Okay.
The alphas take her back upstairs for bubble baths and joints. To yeah, right.
That'll fucking do it.
Absolutely, bubble baths and joints to calm down after she saw her best friend is in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Baby wakes up really crabby the next day, but Books and Tornado are there to comfort her. And one of the things that Books says is that when Omegas are really grumpy, they don't want to make any decisions for themselves. So he is going to just take over. And that's great. He's got lots of experience doing that because he also tells Tornado what to do a lot of the time. Tornado got his name because he has severe PTSD. Mm-hmm. And when he goes into those like fugue rages that can happen, he said the first time it happened, it looked like a tornado went through the room and it stuck. Okay. He doesn't mind the nickname. He knows that he is troubled. He wants to be better for Baby, but he doesn't think that he ever will be. So what Books does is he talks Tornado through taking care of Baby. And it gives everybody a better sense of calm because neither one of these poor, fragile people has to make any choices at all. They get her into the bathtub and they have what I call here a menage a cuddle.
Okay.
Meaning that she has an orgasm from Tornado massaging her shoulders and Books massaging her feet.
Must be nice.
I know, right? I wish I was that. No, I don't. I was going to say I wish I was that sensitive, but no, I don't.
No.
I don't want that for me.
That sounds like a curse more than a blessing.
It does. It really does. But they do have a lovely time, and she feels a little bit better after they're done. Can't imagine why. She and Books go to sleep, but Tornado doesn't stay because Tornado has night terrors. And he doesn't want to bother her. The next morning, she's still really ragey, and they theorize it's because she doesn't have a proper nest. So they're trying to figure out how to fix it for her, and somebody suggests they build a blanket fort.
Always a great idea.
Oh, it's such a good idea to build a blanket fort. And then one of them goes, I'm going to call my girl, because she has like wish boards and shit for building nests. They all have fantasy nests inside of their heads, and they all want to help. So call them.
Look at these guys.
I know, right?
Thinking with portals,
exactly.
Man. I love it.
I mean, I hate that it takes 13 guys to figure out one poor woman's needs.
It's complicated sometimes.
It is complicated. Sometimes it really is. But they figure it out for her, and immediately all of the sweeties are like on board. They build this perfect, beautiful nest for her. So they hang a tension line so they can hang fairy lights and sheets, like a big tent, and then all the sweeties pile inside, and Chef just sends up plates of food, and Bomber sends up drinks, and Green sends up a gold cigarette case of hand-rolled joints and artisanal weed chocolates for them. God.
This is the montage. I know.
Seriously.
I know. Earlier, I said that I thought I thought we missed an opportunity in the first episode to, like think about the idea of like training her for heat.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that montage,
the
like
Omega
a
training montage.
Yeah, the Omega training montage.
Yeah.
No, I want this. I want to see all the sweeties and Baby go to Five Below, go to Home Goods, go wherever.
Yeah.
And do all of that and get it ready. And then I want to see Chef cooking, and I want to see Green with the joints, and he's just doing it so meticulous.
Yeah.
I love it. Goddamn, I love a good montage.
Yeah. We call it the comfort montage. Everybody's here to just make sure that Baby feels comfortable, but also all of the sweeties get to participate in and enjoy this. And I think that's probably the best part. They all spend the day inside this nest.
Absolutely.
Doing like makeovers and nail painting and getting high and eating Chef's food. And some of the food that she describes in this book, it's like buffalo mac and cheese, giant plates of breakfast, like pancakes as high as your fucking chest. Yeah. Sounds amazing. Sounds so good.
Hey, Chef, because you know what I would ask for? I would ask for bowl of stuff.
Bowl of stuff. Carl's favorite thing.
Yeah, that's what you get when you're a gym rat.
Yeah. Pick a protein, pick a carb, pick some flavors, put it in a bowl, eat it. It's Carl's favorite meal.
Bowl of stuff.
Woo! So while they're inside this nest and they're gossiping and they're having a good time, Baby asks them if any of them have ever taken a knot before, because she's never done it either up to this point. And she's worried about it because, again, it is the size of a fist.
Yeah, no. You've mentioned that several times. It's
And
never gets easier to process.
and some of them say, well, I've tried. Some of them say, there's one girl, her nickname is Tiny. She's like, well, obviously I've never tried. I am tiny.
Yeah, look at me.
I think she's Flea's girl even, and Flea is described as a very large man.
Mm-hmm.
So she's never tried it, but Baby she expresses some of her concerns about being with an alpha and taking the knot. And the girls are like, well, have you ever watched any alpha omega porn? No, why would I?
Yeah.
I've never had a reason to. I mean, watch whatever porn you want to watch. Baby's just never thought like that before. You know, I've watched so much lesbian porn in my life. I haven't had that much lesbian sex in my life though, you know?
Right.
But so they decide to watch some alpha omega porn, and the next thing you know, Baby is so horny from watching this porn that Scorch can smell her from across the plaza.
Man.
I'm just imagining him sticking his head up in the air from like a football field away and going, I smell horny.
Exactly. I wish I had that power.
I don't. I don't want to. Well, because it wouldn't just be me. You would just smell it in the street.
I know, but I would only use it for you.
I don't think you can turn off your nose like that, though.
Well, I'm just saying I would only take advantage of it
Yeah.
for you.
Okay. Because I just have this horror story in my head of like just walking through the mall and smelling horny where I shouldn't.
Oh, no. See, what I would do is I would be a total bro about it. I would go up to like if I was out at a restaurant and I saw a couple out on a date and like she got up and went to the bathroom, I'd lean over and be like, bro, she's into you.
Oh, that's nice.
How do you know?
Don't
Trust
ask.
me.
Don't ask questions. I can smell it. So Scorch takes Bomber up to Baby's room, and they are met by Emmy, who is one of the sweeties. She's the most badass of the sweeties.
Okay.
And Emmy's like, you're gonna want to clear your schedule. Scorch says, well, we're just gonna go in and see Baby for a little while. No, all night. Find somebody to cover the bar. And then she leaves, and they find Baby in a state. I'm talking like, I don't think I have ever reached this level. I don't think a human being has ever reached this level of horny in their life.
You underestimate me, but go on.
She's like rolling around inside of the nest, fingering herself and crying because she's so horned up.
Okay, maybe I overestimated myself.
But so they go into her nest, and she's begging for Scorch, and Scorch has dumbass energy and is like, Bomber, you first.
What?
And then Bomber, who has dumbass energy, is like, no, you first. And they fight over who gets to fuck the girl first.
Fuck, these guys are thick.
I know, right? It's so, I mean, I don't want them to brawl about it either, but I would prefer that somebody just go, she asked for you, so you go.
Yeah, I mean, don't be so Midwestern about it. No, you go. No, I insist. You go. No, you go.
Eventually, Bomber does go first because Scorch apparently wanted Bomber to be the first one to have sex with her.
Okay.
Something about liking watching his boyfriend have sex with the Omega or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is.
Hey, man.
But
whatever gets you off.
So Bomber goes first, but it's not enough because, like I said in the last episode, only an alpha can get an Omega through a heat.
Right.
And this is what's called a heat spike, meaning it's not the full-on heat, but she still needs an alpha to get her through this. And they finally do have sex. Baby has her first knotted sex. It's described like sex turned up to like 12.
Okay.
That it's just incredible. He slips right in because she's got that magical Omega vagina. It feels amazing. They end up having sex on and off for a day and a half.
Oh, boy.
I know. Hydrate.
Seriously. Take a break, get up, go for a walk, stretch. Make sure you're eating, get some snacks.
Yeah. So they're having sex. She immediately begs for the bite.
Mm-hmm.
It's hindbrain shit. She doesn't actually want it, but she immediately starts begging for it. He does not provide that to her. And as soon as they get done with the first round, she has a panic attack.
Mm.
And he's still stuck inside of her.
God.
I know, it sounds so awful, but she's having this full-blown panic attack, and he's trying to comfort her, and they have to call Books because they're all assholes and idiots who don't know how to take care of her, and Books is the only one who's done his research so far. This is what they call it, a wacky omega biology thing.
I was going to say, this sounds like we're veering into some rom-com territory.
Yeah.
You're never going to believe what happened.
Yeah, she had a panic attack right after an orgasm.
And he's still inside her, and we can't get him out.
But anyway, so apparently what it is because she asked for the bite and he did not deliver, he's supposed to tell her that he wants to do it, just not right now. Her hindbrain feels rejected.
Oh, it's like a password.
Yeah, and she's... I don't know if you just heard those little cat sneezes, but it was really cute.
I did. I heard him in my headphones.
But she, so once they get her calmed down, she's immediately horny again because there's still a dick in her.
Yeah.
And they go again. Yeah. And they say they have sex on and off for a day and a half. Eventually, Scorch and Bomber have to go on to do some other pack business. So Baby finally gets up out of bed, takes a shower, goes down to the diner for breakfast, where she talks to Red. Red is Books' older brother.
Okay.
Just for context, it doesn't really come into play in any real way, but they are actually related. And Red offers to give her his courting present. Again, he is not one of the alphas who will be with her. She prefers his little brother. But everybody gives Baby a present.
Wait, Red is an alpha.
Red is an alpha.
Okay.
And he is a hand-to-hand combat specialist, so he's going to give her hand-to-hand training.
Oh, nice.
So they go down to the gym, and he teaches Baby how to kick his ass for a couple of hours, specifically how to evade an attack from a much larger opponent, because she's a tiny thing. I think she says... I think Catherine says that she's very tiny. Baby is small in stature. So they practice a lot of rolls, a lot of get your knee up into his face so that you can kick him kind of stuff. Yep. And on the very last set of attacks, she looks over and she sees Cole getting a workout in behind her. While she's fighting Red, she has a panic attack from being crushed by this guy, but she eventually does get her knee up into his face so that she can kick him in the stomach, roll out from underneath him, and pin him. And then she starts to crawl away because she doesn't feel great, and Cole comes to her rescue. So Red leaves her with Cole to comfort her and take care of her, and Cole immediately tries to get frisky, and she's into it until he's too aggressive, going too fast.
Okay.
He doesn't have that soft dom energy that Baby prefers.
Yeah.
And so she calls it off. And to his credit, he stops immediately.
Consent is ongoing.
Yes. Consent is ongoing, and once you rescind it, it goes away. They go back up to the diner where Cole immediately ditches her to go and hang out with some of the sweeties who are going shopping. And she's like, I don't think I like this guy.
Oh.
He is one of the alphas that drew her into the pack.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in the last episode.
Yeah, but she getting to know him doesn't like him.
Okay.
So they move on. Baby goes off in search of a cuddle. She goes and finds Green. Green is in his office at the dispensary. He talks a little bit about what he did before he grew weed. He's a chemist and he used to work in pharmaceuticals, but he hated the fact that he was mostly just making drugs to counteract the side effects of the last drug he made.
Yeah.
So eventually he left and started growing weed instead. He doesn't even smoke it, which is really just a shame, Green.
Come on, man.
I mean, we live in Michigan where it is legalized and it's fantastic. I recommend it.
It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Baby opens up a little bit here. She gets super honest and says that she doesn't know if she's okay with this very sudden change in her life. She doesn't know what's her instincts. She doesn't know what's her hindbrain. what's going on inside her head is actually real and what is instinct taking over. And she doesn't know if they like her because she's baby or if they like her because she's an omega.
Okay.
And Green, to his credit, pulls her in and says, if you were a beta, I would take you home and tell you to call into work the next day. I like you because of who you are. And she's very comforted by that. They end up having a nice little snuggle. But Bullet interrupts before anything can happen because the weather has turned and it's time for them to take a ride.
Oh, on the motorcycle.
On their motorcycles.
Okay, yeah.
They're going to go out as a club. They're all going to go on a ride.
Oh, thank goodness. I was wondering if this motorcycle club would ever ride their motorcycles.
I know. But eventually it does happen.
Oh,
Apparently
good.
it was just down to the weather.
Not fair.
They get out there and she's told she can ride with whichever alpha she wants. Ultimately she picks Bullet and she rides on Bullet's bike through town, and she loves motorcycles. I think the last line in that chapter is, I wonder how much I'll have to beg before I can get one of my own.
Yeah.
Probably never going to get one of your own, sweetheart.
Yeah.
They will not let you.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
Same here, baby. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. When they get back from their ride, Baby and Green end up having sex. Green knots her. She begs for the bite. He is really conflicted. He wants to do it. He doesn't see why they should wait if she's asking for it now. But because it's in writing, he holds off. He just bites the shit out of her, but he doesn't break the skin.
Okay.
Green promises that he will bite her when the time is right. She says the same thing she says to Scorch, which is, I promise when I ask you, I will ask you with my clothes on so that you know that I'm for real. And then they go for round 2.
Okay. I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know who, if anyone, gets to give her the bite.
The bite.
I'm dying to know.
Oh, yeah. We'll
wait.
get there.
I know we will.
We'll get there. The next morning, Scorch and Bomber are swapping out for Green and Bullet to snuggle up with Baby. But then suddenly there is a problem. I want to say Chef is the one who comes up to tell them sometime in the middle of the night, the hangmen have destroyed Bullet's bike.
Motherfuckers.
I know. And he's like crying. He's
Well,
very
yeah.
upset. I mean, it's an extension of him. It's a part of him. Being in a motorcycle club means that you love your motorcycle, right?
Yeah, you can't be in the club if you don't have a motorcycle. I'm kidding. I'm sure they're not going to kick him out, but still, it's kind of a big part of the thing.
Yeah. No, so he's very distraught. They run down to the parking lot to see the damage. On their way down, Baby sees Cole coming out of Lizzie's room, one of the sweeties who lives in the apartments, and she decides that's it. She doesn't want him.
Okay.
Not because he's, quote, cheating on her, but because, well, he didn't even care enough to wait a day.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they get down to the parking lot. The carnage is complete. Bullet thinks that his bike is toast. Dusty says, we'll go through it piece by piece and take whatever we can that is still usable, and I'll build you a brand new one because he built the last one, so we'll build you the next one. Yeah. They immediately try to get Baby back upstairs because she's out in the open, but she says no. They all glove up and clean up the parking lot together, and then Baby and Bullet spend the afternoon in Bullet's office. They don't have sex. She just comforts him because it's,
Yeah.
a tragedy has just happened to this man.
Of course.
And she wants to take care of him. When they go back down to the bar later, they are having a funeral for the bike, and they all mourn together. But before the night can end, because they are huge, enormous douchebags, Buzz and Indy just swan right on in. Be like, oh, we heard something happened to your bike.
Yeah, word travels fast.
Yeah.
When you're guilty of the crime.
They almost start a brawl,
Yeah.
immediately. Bullet tries to go for them immediately and has to be held back by 3 other alphas. And Scorch tells them they know it was them, but there is no evidence. They can't pin it to them. This is the one thing that the hangmen are really good at, is avoiding anybody seeing them doing any of the shitty things that they do. So they are told to leave unless they want it to come down to a dominance fight in which Scorch will most definitely win. So Indy and Buzz leave.
Now, why can we be so certain that Scorch would win?
Because apparently it's happened before.
Okay.
Also, Buzz is smaller than Scorch, and I don't know if that necessarily means that he is less dominant than Scorch, but he wouldn't win in a brawl either.
Okay.
He wouldn't win in a fight. So Buzz and Indy agree to leave, but on the way out, they make a parting shot about how Baby is still unmarked and anything could happen to her. Ugh, it's just gross. Scorch starts freaking out about Baby's safety. Everybody's freaking out about Baby's safety, but Scorch wants to send her back to the Omega Center. And everybody's like, are you out of your fucking mind? He just keeps looking for reasons for her to leave. Mm-hmm. He expects her to leave, so he just looks for reasons for her to go. Scorch, go to therapy.
Yeah. He's definitely trying to, cut things off of the past and just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. So Bomber and Bullet tell him to go fuck himself. She's not going anywhere. They won't let her go anywhere. He speaks for the club, but he does not speak for the pack. He would never get a pack vote to ask Baby to leave. Okay. It's just not happening. He should leave the pack before she does. They discuss ways that they could take care of this. They don't want to retaliate because they will start a war. They don't want to bring in any extra muscle because they can't trust anyone who might come in at this point. They're on lockdown. And then Bullet says, well, we could get her out of here. I have a place where we can go. They go down. They talk to the pack about it. They decide that half of them will stay in Old Downtown at the plaza to watch out for the plaza and watch out for their territory, which they protect from hangman crimes. Yeah. And half of them will go to wherever this safe house is that Bullet has. Baby says she wants Scorch, Bomber, Green, Books, Tornado, Bullet, and maybe Cole to come with her. Because
so Cole still has some usefulness.
She's still on the fence. Like, she feels bad. She feels like she hasn't given him a fair shake.
Okay.
So she's like, well, maybe if we have some time away from this, I can get to know him better, and maybe that will help. But they don't have enough manpower for them all to go at once.
Yeah.
So they decide Cole will stay, and then after a week, I think Scorch and Bomber will trade out for him. And that way they'll have full coverage on both ends at all times.
Take it in shifts.
Yeah, absolutely. Baby points out the most obvious thing here, which is if she is unmarked, if that's the only problem, they can just mark her and be done with it.
Yep.
But Scorch tells her he doesn't want her to make that decision under duress, which is fair.
Yeah.
She wants this. She wants this club. She wants this mark. She wants this pack. She's fully invested and ready to go. But yeah, you probably shouldn't make this decision because if you don't, you're in danger.
Yeah.
It's
not the circumstances under which you should make that major of a decision.
Yeah, you don't get married because your dad's got a shotgun to your back.
No.
And you don't take the bite because a rival motorcycle club is threatening you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That seems like a very bad life choice to make.
Absolutely. Green pulls Bullet to the side and tells him we need to keep an eye on Cole. Because the very first time that Baby came to see him in his office, she smelled distressed and she smelled like Cole. And even though she won't talk about it, he knows that there's something going on. Mm-hmm. They decide that they're going to leave in the morning. Baby spends the night with Books and Tornado, and they wear her out, quote unquote, so that she can sleep the next day because the drive is going to take most of the day. She's going to be in a truck mm-hmm. with Bullet because Bullet doesn't have a bike right now, and then and the rest of the club will be on their bikes. So
nice of them to jump on that grenade for the team.
I know, right? So good of you to make sure that Baby is well and truly sleepy.
Yeah.
By fucking her all night. You good men. On the drive the next day, Baby spends most of the day passed out, but she wakes up at some point and talks to Bullet for a little while, and he tells her that they're passing through a town that has a motorcycle club in it, and they have to stop and talk to that club because otherwise they'll get suspicious and they don't want to make any waves. And also if they can get it in good with this club, that club will keep an eye on the roads around their town. And if the hangmen start heading that way, they'll be able to let the Howlers know. So they stop inside this pack bar, and the club is the Rough Diamonds.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know. I didn't read this book.
I know. Yeah.
It's the complete antithesis to the format, hun.
I know. So they stop at this bar. The bar is owned by the Rough Diamonds Motorcycle Club, and Baby is immediately enchanted with it because it is a mostly female club led by a female alpha, and they have a male omega. But the thing that she loves the most about it is that she's seeing alphas with bites. She's seeing, even though alpha bites on alphas do nothing.
Yeah.
She's seeing betas with bites. She's seeing small groups inside of larger groups. She's seeing what a pack can really be if they just fuck off with this hierarchy bullshit.
Okay.
And everybody just has a good time.
Now, quick aside, is there anything special about an omega penis? I know we talked about the alpha penises having the, again, fist size knot at the base. Is there anything special about an omega penis?
I have not read one of Catherine Moon's. No, that's not true. I read Bad Alpha. No.
Okay, so there's nothing.
No.
Okay.
There's nothing specific about an omega penis except that they can go and go and go and go and go, and they're really, really sensitive.
Okay.
So they'll have 12 orgasms in a single session of fucking.
Hate when that happens.
I know, right? Isn't that just the worst? Again, hydrate. No, I've read at least 2 of her books that have male omegas. Anyway.
Okay. No, I was just curious. I wanted to know because we talked about they can have a self-lubricating anus.
Yeah.
So I wondered what was going on the other side. Nothing. No.
Yeah, there's no physical difference. Okay. Noticeable physical difference to an omega's penis.
Got it.
Yeah. So baby has a good time. The alphas go off to talk. She gets to meet Devin, the omega of the Rough Diamonds, and she loves him, and he offers to have her back again to actually get to know her when there's nothing bad is happening. Right. And then they get back on the road. Baby falls asleep again, and when she wakes up, she's being carried into a big fucking mansion, because it turns out Bullet is rich as shit.
There's got to be one.
There's always a rich guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's good for the dynamic and also for security.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's part of the fantasy, right? Part of the fantasy is not having to worry about money more than anything. Women don't want rich men. They don't want to have to worry about money. It doesn't matter where the money comes from.
Women in the books.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
I want to make sure we're not broadly generalizing.
I'm not painting any sort of picture of what women are like in the real world. Yeah. One of the things that the fantasy encompasses is the idea that you don't have to worry about money anymore, because capitalism is a hellscape, and it's better if you just have the money. So in the book, you just have the money.
I was going to say, maybe I can relate to these characters, because I wish I didn't have to worry about money either.
Yeah, for real. So they go into this huge mansion. It's Bullet's family home, and baby is like, holy fuck, this is insane. There's paintings on the walls of the past generations, and there's like a turret and all kinds of crazy shit. And Bullet leads her up that turret to a full proper nest.
Oh, wow.
A real nest.
I want a nest in a turret.
I know, right? And an attached bathroom. I want that bathroom so bad. It's all like black and gold tile in a clawfoot tub and shit. Sounds amazing.
One day.
Yeah. So they go into this real and proper nest, and one of the things that distinguishes a real and proper nest is that the entire floor is made of bed.
Oh.
There's no bed. It is a bed.
I did not expect a Venn diagram overlap of Omega Nest and Montessori style bedrooms. But here we are.
God damn it, don't make me laugh when I'm drinking.
Quit drinking so goddamn much. Quit taking your own advice and hydrating.
So baby is getting like all comfy in this space, and she's like, whose nest was this? I don't want to step on any toes. It's Bullet's, because Bullet comes from a family of genetic omegas. They expected him to be one, but when his designation actually popped out and he was an alpha, it caused a lot of problems he tells the story of how it caused a lot of problems in his family. His dads couldn't control him.
His dads?
Well, I mean, there's multiple.
Okay, no,
alphas.
I know. I understand. I just want to. I didn't know if maybe he had gay dads.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. His mother.
Okay.
And his dads couldn't properly control him until eventually, when he was 18, he joined the military.
Okay.
He explains that the reason why he is so hesitant to bark and growl and show his dominance in any way is because of the upbringing that he had. But baby tells him that she likes him. She likes it when he does that. And so he barks and growls for her to sit on his face.
Good man.
He's a good man.
Yes, he is.
The next chapter is just sex.
Oh, I love it when the chapter is just sex.
Yeah. Face writing, nodding, and Bullet goes full rut. And what that means is he gets fully animalistic. He's primal. He's not in control anymore. The next chapter is just sex.
Okay.
Sweet and caring shower sex with Bomber. Bomber dirty talks her all the way through it about how he wants to DP her with Scorch.
Well, okay then.
We'll call that what is that called?
You mean besides DP?
No. We call that Chekhov's DP.
God damn it. If there's double penetration hanging on the wall in the first act, by the third act, somebody needs to get double stuffed. It's just the way it is. That one's for the theater nerds.
Yeah. You're welcome, nerds. So they have this excellent shower sex. Books walks in at the end and just watches them finish. I think he does a little golf clap even. He's so proud.
You got to show appreciation for good fucking.
Yeah. And Bomber says that he's not entirely sure why Baby wanted him, but he's glad that she did pick him to have any kind of sex with. And she says, well, you can't take a knot in the shower because it's stuck. Well, you're stuck there.
Okay.
For like an hour.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and then the hot water runs out.
Exactly.
And then you got to turn the water off and you can't get to the towels.
It's
you can't put on a robe.
Uncomfortable. They're carrying you around like Superman trying to get you into the bed. Like, it's awful. You can't have not sex in the shower.
They get caught trying to get her to the bedroom and they're like, oh, rookie mistake.
Exactly. Baby, after all of this, after sex with Bullet and Bomber, is still crazy horny, and Books theorizes that now that she's fully safe and has a proper nest, she's going into heat. Full stop.
Okay.
This is the real thing, the real heat. Baby is nervous, but Books is like, don't worry, I'll be here. We'll all be here to help you through it. And then they play a very sort of primal kink game where he chases Baby around and catches her a bunch of times. Like, she runs, he catches, she runs, he catches.
Oh, it's adorable.
Right? It's cute, but also it's like cat and mouse, prey and predator.
Yeah.
And eventually Baby rides him into oblivion, and that's our third chapter that is just sex.
All right. Now, we had, with A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, we had 5 consecutive chapters of sex. 4 consecutive chapters of sex at the live porn.
Yeah, the live porn theater.
Okay.
Then the next chapter starts SpongeBob meme voice. 3 days later. They've been having sex for 3 days.
I hate when I'm having sex and then lose all track of time and realize I've been fucking for 3 days.
Well, yeah, me too. I guess. Waking up in a pile of 5 dudes.
Listeners, I'm just hearing about this too. So I'm just as surprised as you are.
I like 4 people and only 2 of them are guys and they're both married and one of them is you.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
I guess technically 3 of them are guys. Anyway.
And one of them is them.
Yeah, they're who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Their husband often refers to them as a little guy.
Oh, little guy.
They're a little guy. I love you, little guy. Anyway, 3 days later, Baby wakes up. She's officially out of heat. She's feeling much better, but she is, as she describes herself, starving, dirty, and stinky. So she goes to take a shower, and she realizes while she's in the shower that Green didn't come to her heat. She hasn't seen him in 3 days, and she's a little upset by that. So she wanders downstairs to try and find him. On her way, she finds Tornado, who is making her curry, and she's delighted because he remembered that Indian is her favorite food.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah, me too. Right?
Yeah.
God, I still think about good Indian food that we ate in Philadelphia like 4 years ago when we lived in Philadelphia.
Yep. When we had to go when they were fixing our apartment complex's pool, they knocked out the power to the entire complex, so they had to pay to send us to a hotel, and we got that really awesome Indian food across the street in King of Prussia.
When I was pregnant, I cried about that chili paneer, knowing I would never be able to have it.
It was the goddamn best.
So good. Anyway, so Tornado tells her where to find Green. He's in the greenhouse
Go
figure. He makes up 2 plates of food for her to take down to Green so that she can go down and talk to him. And when she gets there, she asks him why he wasn't at the heat. And he says it's because he didn't think he would be able to stop himself if she begged for the bite. He just didn't want to.
Yeah.
He would have done it. He knew he would have done it, and he would have pissed off Scorch, and that would have caused a fight, and he didn't want to ruin her first heat with a fight.
Yeah.
So he stayed away.
I can relate to Green in that regard in my poor self-control.
So baby explains to him that she picked this pack. The heat of the moment argument is no longer applies because the heat has passed. So the next time she asks for the bite, she expects to get it.
Okay.
And Green promises her that he will. And I think he even says, like, ask me now. And she does, but she's not.
But she's naked.
She's not naked.
Okay.
She's had a shower and she's dressed and she's got food now. What she realizes is that she's starving, and her physical need to eat, because she hasn't eaten hardly anything in 3 days. Yeah. Just hang on. I'm going to shove this curry into my face.
Yep. And then you can break the skin of my neck with a bite.
Yeah. So the group has a nice couple of days just sort of recentering themselves after their 3-day-long mega orgy. Baby finds like a nice den where they watch a lot of movies. At one point they watch a movie. They watch Mansfield Park.
Okay.
But they're referring to it as if it is, because this is a world where alpha omega dynamics are normal. Mansfield Park, but ABO. Mansfield Pack.
God damn it. Ah. How dare you be so good at presenting these stories and also funnier than me.
I'm so sorry. I'll pull it back a little. I'll be less
won't.
funny.
No, never. Don't you dare.
So their nice time just chilling in this giant mansion in the fucking Catskills or wherever they are is interrupted briefly because the Omega Center has called. They want to send someone to check on baby because moving an Omega during a heat or close to a heat is a red flag. And so baby's like, okay, we have to clean up. We have to do whatever we can to air out that nest.
It's like the scene in like those teen movies when like the parents are coming home. We got to clean up after a party. We have to clean up after our 3-day fuck fest.
Not that it really matters. I mean, everyone knows what happens during a heat, right? They're sending in Omega to check on her, so the Omega should know.
Yeah, but still,
you want to be polite.
Yeah. Everybody grab a mop. Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So she says, we have to clean. We have to get this ready and presentable. And the guys just start picking tasks, things that Tornado's like, I'll take the kitchen. Green's like, I'll take the greenhouse probably. She doesn't have to delegate any of that, which is that's the fantasy. Telling men that the house needs to be cleaned and not having to tell them what to do.
Yep.
Baby secretly hopes that it's Yvonne because she knows that Yvonne would just choke if she saw this house. But it turns out to be Rebecca, who was the Omega that she met at the Omega Center in like chapter 2. And Rebecca takes her aside and doesn't even go up to the nest because she can smell it from the landing. But asks her if she thinks that she's made the right choice. Baby does think she's made the right choice. Rebecca is very sweet to her about the whole thing, and Baby feels so much better. She asks her about the bite, though, because she still hasn't had one, and she's worried that maybe this is taking too long. And Rebecca says, no, it takes as long as it takes. Just let it happen. You don't have to force it. And she says she went through 2 or 3 heats with her pack before that eventually happened. And it's all fine. It's all good. And Baby feels a lot better after Rebecca leaves. Scorch and Bomber have to leave to head back home. So they share a goodbye. Baby and Scorch have a fight right before he leaves because she's telling him there's no reason to wait anymore, but he keeps thinking of reasons why he shouldn't bite her. Mm-hmm. He's so convinced that she's going to leave at some point that she can't get through to him. And eventually she tells him she'll wait as long as she has to wait, but she's not going to wait with the other alphas because she's made her decision. And Scorch kind of thinks that she will wait for him, but he feels really bad about the whole thing, etc., etc. She and Green then have mating sex. It's Green. to answer your question.
Green?
It's green.
Oh, okay. Now, I was really pulling for Sanjay, but you know what? I think I like green.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sweet. He's nice. He's very quiet, sort of stern, taciturn, but centered and calm. And I think he's a good fit for baby's first bite. He bites her right on the lip.
First?
Yes.
So multiple. See,
I'm so sorry. Yeah, no, all of her alphas are gonna bite her.
Okay. See, I wasn't under the impression that it was one.
I'm sorry. No.
No, it's okay. No.
I didn't properly explain it.
I'm learning. I'm learning as we go.
Yeah. So he gives her bite right on the lip, and she feels the mating bond stretch out inside of her chest. It's like a little bit of magic. Mm-hmm. It is a psychological emotional bond. She can now feel all of his emotions, and he can now feel all of hers. She says it's not like having your own emotions. It's not like having two sets of emotions, but she can feel what he's feeling from a distance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I have a hard enough time processing and dealing with my own.
I know. It's like a terrifying thought to think you'd be feeling two full sets of emotions. But she says that while she says, if he feels angry, I can feel the anger, but it doesn't control me. I don't get angry if he's angry.
Okay.
She just knows he's angry, which is great, really, if you think about it, because if she's supposed to be the emotional center of a pack of several alphas, she doesn't have to individually therapize every single one of them.
That is a staggering amount of emotional labor that I don't think she wants.
Yeah. So instead, basically, it's just it's helpful to her to be like, if she's feeling somebody out there is distressed, she can find them and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Or she can just send them a little bit of calm. And if she's distressed, they can find her and fix it immediately, or send her the little bit of calm that she needs to get by.
Got it.
She and Green have a conversation about Cole. Green doesn't think that Cole should come. Baby's like, no, you're probably right. Now that the heat's over, I don't want anything to do with Cole, but he's already on the road. Okay. He'll be here. I think like the next night he's going to be at the house. So instead they just determined that she will never be alone with him. As long as Cole is in the house, baby will never be alone, period. And they fall asleep like watching movies, and Cole arrives the next day. She tells him immediately, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to lead you on or anything, but I am no longer interested in you. And he takes it with a surprising amount of grace. But he's obviously very disappointed.
Yeah.
Then it comes out that baby has bonded with Green. Everybody else is like, oh my God, no, you didn't. Scorch is going to be so mad. And baby's like, fuck him. I don't care if he's mad.
Eat shit, Scorch.
Eat shit, Scorch. Absolutely. So she defends her choices. She says, I'm not going anywhere, so there's no point in waiting. And we learn, I think, at some point along the way that if an alpha touches the mark that he made, it immediately makes you just a little horny, which I think is rude.
Yeah.
Because he gave it to her on the lip. Every kiss he ever gives her from now until forever is going to make her a little horny.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do that. I mean, that's just practical.
Well, I guess, yeah. It is pretty practical, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just get her revved up automatically just by giving her a little peck on the lips.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, baby and Bullet spend the whole day shooting. This is where she actually learns how to shoot her gun, because they're out in the countryside and she can't hurt anybody if she's firing at cans. Paper targets. I think they're paper targets. Bullet tells her that she's really good at it. She hits all the paper targets. Like, she doesn't like center shot them every single time, but she's like a decent shot.
Yeah.
And good for her. While they're out there, they talk about the pack and how much she misses the whole pack, not just the ones that she's sleeping with, but the entire pack is important to her. The sweeties, the other alphas, everybody is important to her. And Bullet tells her how much it means to them to know that she cares for the whole pack equally, and how important it is that she is their home now. The entire pack is so loyal to her, and it's a really touching moment. Later that night, baby and Tornado make dinner together. Tornado shares his concerns about bonding with her because he doesn't want to have an episode and make it bad for her. Because if she can feel his feelings, he doesn't want her to feel his PTSD.
Even though she doesn't really feel it.
Yeah, but they kind of make it seem like you don't understand what the bond is until you've got it.
Okay.
Sort of like you don't understand what it means to love a child until you love a child.
Yep.
It's the only other thing I can think of that even is remotely similar. You don't understand what the bond is until you've had it. So Tornado is really reluctant. She tells him, take all the time you need, but remember, I'm part of the bond too. Maybe I can help you, which is what you said.
Yep.
So that evening, they get frisky on the counter, but they are interrupted by Cole, who is continually pissing off everyone while he's here. He's kind of being an asshole, and he keeps interrupting when she gets close to getting busy with somebody.
Coitus interruptus.
Yes. What did you call it last week?
Clam jam.
Clam jammed left and right.
Clam jam left and right.
All by Cole the clam jammer. Fuck that guy. Baby and Books discuss mating as well. Books tells her that he is currently in an investigation into the hangman, and what he has found so far is very dirty bookkeeping, open threats of violence on social media, and beta women keep disappearing from hangman territory. Motherfuckers. So Baby encourages him to keep on going. He says he's going to hand it all off to the police. She says, sure, go ahead, but keep digging, because they are the only chance that any of these women have of being found safely. The next day, there is a short chapter in which Bomber tells Scorch to get his head out of his ass and just mate the damn woman already, because she wants it. She's asked for it a bunch of times. They're currently not with her, but Scorch wants to go back to her and like send Cole home again, but he still won't. He tells Bomber he won't mark her.
Well, he can't bite her with his head up his ass.
I know, right? And Bomber's like, you know what's going to happen if you don't do this. And because Scorch is Scorch, she's like, she'll leave. No, you asshole. You'll alienate yourself from her and the entire pack and end up getting kicked out because you don't want what everybody else wants, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah, you don't hear of, I would imagine there aren't a lot of Omegas getting kicked out. There's probably more of a precedent for an Alpha getting kicked out than there would be for an Omega, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the process would be, but they could certainly kick him out of the MC by vote.
Oh, absolutely.
So
I'm sure it's in the bylaws.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They have to have a quorum.
Yep.
I just love the word quorum. Anyway, that conversation between Scorch and Bomber is interrupted by Chef, who is losing his mind because Emmy has gone missing.
Oh.
And now we're going to kick it up a notch. The Hangmen have officially made a play to truly fuck with the Howlers, and they have taken Emmy.
All because they have an Omega or because the Howlers have an Omega and they don't.
Yes, exactly. They decide that no Sweetie is going to be by herself until Emmy is home. They're thankful that Baby is, so far north that the Hangmen can't possibly get to her. But now they have a rescue mission. They have to find Emmy. They all ride off. They try to find her. They can't find anything. So they call the house up north, and they call Bullet, Cole, and Green back to old downtown. They leave Baby with Tornado and Books. Baby, Tornado, and Books have bonding sex that night? Yes. Baby, Tornado, and Books have bonding threesome that night.
Well, yeah, you're going to form a bond if you have a threesome.
Absolutely.
Alpha or no.
So Baby, Tornado, and Books enjoy a lovely evening together. Baby wakes up in the middle of the night. She's feeling real good about herself. She's getting her mate on. She's real happy. And then while she's in the bathroom by herself, she hears footsteps in the house. Somebody has broken in. She immediately grabs the toilet lid, which is like genius move, and she manages to bash one goon over the head with the toilet lid before she is hit with a tranquilizer dart. She can't feel Books or Tornado in her bond, and she's terrified that they have killed them, but she doesn't have time to think about it. She is knocked out, and the next thing you know, she wakes up in a cage.
Which is not a place you ever want to wake up.
Yeah. She wakes up to Emmy screaming her lungs out, every profanity, every threat. Emmy is not one to be fucked with, but there is nothing they can do because they are in custom-made metal cages approximately the size of a medium dog cage. Mm-hmm. And they don't know what they're going to do, but at least they're together now. Pack Howler and the Hangmen have a meeting on neutral ground. They want Emmy back. They threaten to do whatever they have to get Emmy back. But Buzz and Indy imply that she just left because the Howlers are inadequate as a club and as a pack. They give a bunch of taunts and say, we also have that unmated Omega. And who knows what's going to happen with her. I heard she's not sticking around much longer either.
But she's not unmated. Or do they not know that?
They don't know that.
Okay.
Baby's hundreds of miles away in a different state. They don't know that.
Okay.
They leave the meeting with no answers. Buzz is just an asshole who's really good at covering his tracks. But while they're on their way home, that is when Baby gets abducted, and Green can feel it through their bond. So he crashes his motorcycle, and right there in the middle of the street, they find out that Baby has been taken.
So who got shot with a tranquilizer dart?
Baby.
Okay. So was this meeting for... I'm confused because... So they're having the meeting.
Yes.
Did the break-in happen during the meeting? Because it's...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The break-in is first in the book, but happens simultaneously to the meeting in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did to make that clear. That's why I was very confused.
I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, listeners. I got this.
He'll help even me out here. Green feels her getting tranked. They realize that Cole is nowhere to be found. And so they go and talk to Lizzie, who is Cole's sweetie, who says, I don't know what's going on, but he has been talking to his half-brother a lot lately. His half-brother is Buzz.
God damn it.
Cole is a former hangman who showed up to the Howlers strung out and in need of serious help, got himself clean, but it turns out he's still just an asshole. And he's pissed off that Baby didn't choose him. So he went to his brother, and they figured out a way to abduct her.
So they had a man on the inside. That motherfucker.
What a shit. Back in...
God, do we hate Cole.
Back in the house where Baby and Emmy are trapped, Cole comes to talk to Baby.
Okay.
And basically tells her, if you just picked me, you wouldn't be in this situation. She tells him to fuck right off. He gets her out of the cage and drags her off to another room where there's just like a bare light bulb in a lamp and a mattress on the floor. Not a good situation.
No.
And she fights him with everything she has. She claws his face, tries to run away, but he grabs her. So I actually wrote down exactly what happens in order because I was so proud of her. She breaks his nose, hits him in the face with a lamp. He tries to kick her in the ribs, but she grabs him by the foot and pulls him to the ground where he cracks his head on the concrete. She then picks his head up by the hair and smashes it into the ground again.
Oh, that is...
It's gross, but it's satisfying.
I was going to say it's satisfying. It sounds like Red trained her well.
Yes. He retreats, tail between his legs, but he tells her that Buzz is going to come and Buzz is going to fuck her up. She's like, bring it on. The only thing she can do is put the mattress in front of the door and hide in the corner. She is now separated from Emmy. She is all alone in a room with a painted black window, and she's terrified. Several hours later, Buzz does arrive. He comes in violent. He just starts out violent, and he is armed. He charges her. He points the gun at her head, but she says that she knows that she's worth more alive as an Omega than she will ever be dead. So he charges her, and she submarines him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's bullshit on the ice, but when you're in a cage or in a locked room, you take advantage of everything you can.
Absolutely.
I highly encourage submarining in that context.
Yes. For those listeners who don't know what that means, submarining is when somebody charges you while you're upright, and by the time they get to you, you are folded in half, and they fling over your body.
Yeah, it's a hockey term. You make like you're gonna like go shoulder to shoulder with the guy, but then you drop at the last second and kind of try and get as low as you can, usually below the hips.
Yeah.
If you can get below the hips, closer to the knees, but. Not that I would know from personal experience. I've never submarined anyone.
So she gets like head right in the gut.
Good for her.
And he goes flying. The gun goes off and shoots out this window that she has not been able to break on her own. The window shatters, and she looks out and realizes that she's in a subdivision of model prefab homes, and that's why no one's been able to hear her screaming this whole time. She goes for the gun, points it at him, and he's like, oh, baby, I don't think you're going to shoot me. So she pops him twice.
Fuck yeah, she does.
And Buzz is dead.
Yes.
She gets out of the room, and she's met by a hangman goon, and she basically tells him, I will kill you unless you get me to Emmy right now. And he's smart enough to care more about his life, so he gets her to Emmy. She gets Emmy out of the cage, but Cole is there, and Cole is pissed. They shut themselves in the room, and Cole's screaming, all of the worst misogynistic things you can think of at her. And she's like, you know what, fuck this, fires right through the door and gets him in the thigh.
Ouch.
And she calls down to the rest of the goons, like, come scrape up your so-and-so. You might as well know right now that I am a howler, and he brought me to you. Do you really want to try and fuck with the rest of my pack?
Yeah, you just got your shit kicked in by little old me.
Yeah.
And I don't even have the alphas.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumb
Doing
shits.
it all by herself. Cole tries to grab Emmy by the leg while she and Baby are stepping over him to get to the room with the shot out window so that they can escape. And Baby doesn't hesitate for 1 second. She shoots him right in the face. Goodbye, Cole. Cole is gone.
Well, we won't be seeing him later in the sweet verse.
Right, exactly. So she and Emmy throw the mattress from that room out the window. They jump to safety just as they see motorcycles and cop cars coming up the horizon. The day is saved. The rest of the hangmen are arrested, and Baby is taken to medics for care and treatment. Emmy has a broken arm and a busted eye. Baby has scratches and bruises, but she is otherwise fine, and all of the alphas are very, very happy to see her. The rest of the book is mostly a wrap-up, and it ends with an epilogue where Scorch is seducing Baby and at the same time telling her all of the ways that he's going to renovate the apartments for her, which is where she asks for the jacuzzi tub.
Oh, I remember right before we bought this house, I used to dirty talk you with talking about our low interest rate. Good times.
That's so funny.
It was actually a nightmare. We bought this house right at the outset of the pandemic. And
oh, God.
So
it was like, just buy it. I don't care if it's kind of weird. Just buy it. It's the only one in our price range.
It's got carpet in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It still does.
It does have carpet in the kitchen and one of the bathrooms.
It's so terrible.
It's so gross. But we'll get there. We'll fix it eventually when we have the funds.
God, that was so much fun.
There is one final little scene where Baby and Lola meet up, and Lola's doing okay.
Oh, good.
But she is definitely not well. She's endured a lot.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about what happens with Lola, read Sweet Verse Book 2 and 3, Lola and the Millionaires, Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what, 19? I feel like...
19?
No, I, for some reason, I swore there were 19 books.
I'm pretty sure there are 9.
Okay, maybe that's where
Yeah.
I was just creating 10 extra books in my
Yeah.
head.
I'm pretty sure there are 9, and they are written by 2 different authors. Catherine Moon wrote Baby and the Late Night Howlers, Lola Part 1 and Part 2, and she wrote the newest one, which I haven't read yet, which is Faith in the Dead End Devils. But then the other books were written by Lana Cole.
Okay.
And those ones are also great.
So they went with Lola and the Millionaires, not Lola and the Damn Yankees. They just swapped out Millionaires for...
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure there was probably some reason they couldn't do that. But
yeah.
Again, for you theater nerds.
You're so welcome. Anyway, that is Baby and the Late Night Howlers.
That was great.
It's my favorite of Catherine Moon's books, maybe. I don't know if I could pick, but I definitely do love Baby so much. I've read it several times now, and I'm really glad I got the opportunity to share it with you.
I enjoyed it. I really did. I know we talked about this off pod and talked about how like it doesn't have as much like smut element to it. I mean, it doesn't have a nymphomaniac main character.
Yeah, it's not as wild as Rook's Grave was. Rook's Grave is just from start to finish, they're just going at 100%.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful romance. It's got beautiful relationship building and lovely characters. It's definitely worth the full read, listeners. I recommend it. I really do.
Absolutely. And this is normally the part of the show where, and I think I was going to say normally, but we didn't do it. But this is the part of the show where we say, hey, this is what we are going to read next. And we talked about earlier, you described to me a book that sounded really excellent. And we are going on vacation, and we've got 2 full weeks before we have to record this next episode.
Yeah.
So you've got plenty of time to read a brand new book. Is that what you're going to go with?
Yes.
Okay, drop it.
I haven't even purchased this book in full yet, but I have a sample that I'm going to read, and I fully expect to want to read it in its entirety. I am going to be reading Inked from the Gilded Blood series by Rachel Renner. It is a fantasy. It is a monogamous couple this time. We've only done Why Chooses so far, and it is in the romantic comedy realm. So that should be fun. I think of fantasy rom-coms as being the classics of the smut world because it's what I started with.
Okay.
And there's a very special place in my heart for fantasy rom-coms with goofy characters and full-on like pressed comedy and jokes.
Yeah.
Real jokes.
Which I think is really hard to do in printed word.
It is, but when you get it right, it's great.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I seriously, thank you so much.
You're
That
welcome,
was a
honey.
blast. Folks, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at both places at Cheap Smut. We are on TikTok as well, but we are not currently active there because
we have to figure out how to use it first.
well, you know how. I don't, but we need to figure out how to use it for the show.
Yeah.
The music, I keep forgetting to do this. I always put it in the show notes. The music that we use in this show comes courtesy of the Free Music Archive. You can go check that out for all of your free music needs, freemusicarchive.org. It is Nostalgia by Micaiah Beats. Yeah. I love that vocal watermark.
Yeah.
It pops up various points in the song. Micaiah Beats. And I get it. I mean,
Well, obviously.
yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but I also got to edit around. Thank you so much, honey, for presenting yet another wonderful tome. It was a blast.
I am so glad to do it. I loved being able to read Baby again and to share her with you. And everybody out there, I hope you had a good time too. If you did, please rate and review us. It is the best way to ensure that we can get a little following, which we would love, because I would love to share these books with even more people.
That is what I...
And remember, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there is fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she will come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.